So we're going to remove this radiator on this Gsxr 750, 40,000 miles. I want to see how clogged up it is, what it's like. It's not leaking, but I don't know if it's breathing very well. So if nothing else, to give it a good clean. So obviously we want to know where everything goes. Easily done nowadays, just take pictures. It's held on by a lower nut and bolt, and there's one either side, two at the top. They've been soaked in a little drop of WD-40 for a few hours. It's not the best stuff. If things are seized solid, WD-40 will never free them, but it will certainly help stuff that's a little bit rusted for sure. So that's that. I'm going to go all the way around. And again, we're going to take pictures of where the hoses are and where they go. Make sure, of course, the right ones go in the right place. It's also handy. How long does it take? A couple of snaps on your phone. So we'll take this off and have a good look at it. It also means, of course, we're going to dump all the old coolant, and that means it's going to get fresh coolant. Who knows when this bike last got fresh coolant? But what I will tell you is, although it's not leaking, I don't think it's been checked for a long time, because that's slightly past the minimum amount. So it will certainly deserve to have some fresh coolant. It has had it in its life because someone's put on all these silicone hoses at some point. So, you know, it more than likely has had fresh coolant, but I have no idea how long ago that was. It wasn't in the last 4 or 5 years, because my friend's had the bike since then and he didn't put them on. Okay, this bike's hoses are held on by Jubilee clips or hose clips, and more standard automotive hose clips, which if you haven't got the right tools to remove those ones, an adjustable spanner is the perfect tool. You don't even need to buy the correct tool. A little bit fiddly to line it up, but because it's an adjustable, it works on any size hose clips I've ever used on cars and bikes. This one's a bit fiddly, getting the angle, but again, as long as you get all 3 prongs, get a good grip, it's the perfect tool. Don't be a complete numpty like me and fanny and fiddle about trying to get at this bolt around everything else. The wire, just undo one plastic screw and remove that air intake and drop it out your way. What a load of faffing. All I had to do was take that thing out of the way above it and I'd have got in a lot easier. pulling those electrical connectors apart, have a look at the contacts. Are they clean? Are they corroded? Do you need to sort them out? Well, it turns out pretty much zero wrong with this radiator at all. It's not leaking and it is absolutely clear. Once you can look straight at it, really perfect really. Didn't need to come off, but I'm glad we took it off just to make sure. We'll give it a slight rinse out and a clean too. And now it is off, we can get that crud and get some engine cleaner on there, clean that block down, clean it off, rinse it off, let it dry, and cover that aluminium engine in a good squirt of WD-40, which will just help protect it and it will look so different. Now we're using a gentle hose to just clean through the radiator. Obviously start off front, rather back to front, so you flush the grime and the insects back out the way they came, not deeper into the fins. Do not use a pressure washer or a high jet on the hose, you will strip out those aluminium fins. Just a gentle blow through with a gentle current and just get it nice and clean, although it was pretty good really. Get your pointy end of your hose nozzle in there and flush through that system. Who knows what antifreeze was in this bike already. Let's flush it all out and we'll put fresh in. And give it a good hose through and just let all that old, who knows how old, antifreeze and coolant come out of the system. On a side note, most antifreeze, or certainly the older styles, are deadly poisonous to dogs, which do like the taste and smell of it if it hasn't got Victrex added. Don't let the dog lap up the puddle, don't let it go down a drain into a watercourse. This is actually going into a soak away. Just bear in mind, it can be dangerous stuff to wildlife and pets. going to use a little bit of rust treatment on that lower bracket just to kill off the rust, but wax oil is my favourite. Just get it on there. Just you know, while it's off, let's titivate and make the bike better. But somewhere like this, I do love wax oil. This was just handier in the moment. Okay, so we're going to put some antifreeze in. We're going to fill it back up. It's going to be an awful lot easier if this isn't here. So we need to get that cable tie off for now. Undo that plastic screw. There's one there, look. Get that off. Just put this to one side. Easy peasy. So now we can get a funnel in there. This is known as a sealed system, but it's a semi-sealed system. Expansion chamber, and that goes to a vent. So if it expands too much, the water in the system can rise in here, and then it'll get drawn back in as it cools. But if it needs to, it can blow out. Take the lid off, just even more air, but it has a breather anyway. But air point to escape should go in and fill up quicker. Okay, I've started using this stuff now because it mixes with anything, but we have fully flushed this system. It's safe. You've got to make sure your coolant's going to be safe on things like an aluminium engine parts, which this is. 50-50 mix. Google says 2.5 to 3 litres to fill up this make and model. Let's find out. we filled it to the top, well, to the top of the neck. Pop the cap on. We filled this to the high mark, and we've got the bike to let some of the air out. Next job, fire the bike up, let it run, let the water pump round and see where we are, see what's going on, and top up if necessary. So we've run the bike for a few minutes. And some of the air's come out. We need to top up. Just check it. Once you've let it run around the system and get the air out, you will most likely need to add more. Job done, but keep an eye. Now I was going to spray this just with some matte black paint. Another alternative is just give it, not with a WD-40 with the nozzle on. Use the ones that don't have the nozzle on, so it doesn't take you more than 2 seconds. Just give that aluminium what should be a very light spraying with WD-40. It will just protect it. You could argue if it's sticky, it's gonna trap dirt and dust, but this bike's not going to be used by the time, well, won't be used until that stuff's pretty dry. It just protects the aluminium like we did on the aluminium engine block.